Hi, hello, how are you? My name is Pinoy, and today we are going to try to predict the first ever Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, which means we're gonna see a new console. We only see this like once every 10 some years. This is extremely exciting. I honestly cannot fucking wait. Today it is March 29th. It's currently 10:01 p.m. and I am so excited. I cannot contain myself, genuinely. It's very hard to not to just relax. I really look forward to console releases, and even more so when it's Nintendo. Future Pinoy coming in, and I completely forgot as I'm editing this that I did not once talk about the system itself or any system-wide features. That's because I think this showcase is mostly going to be about video games, because that's what sells the console. It's also what I'm mostly excited about, but I can throw in my predictions for this quickly here. I think it'll be $400. I wish it was $300. I think we're going to get themes. I think we're going to finally get the return of music while you're shopping. I really miss that. I did write down a bunch of different predictions here, and I'll probably go through them all as well as my logic around them. But I also went ahead and made a list that I'm kind of like the finalized list, what I'll actually throw down the hammer on as my predictions. We'll do that last though, and I'm gonna go through my entire list. I have on my phone here, and then yeah, so you get the whole picture. So let's see, I'll just go from top to bottom of what I have. I have Oblivion Remake. Oblivion Remake has been rumored for a long time now, and I feel like it would make sense to show it here. When the Nintendo Switch 1 presentation happened in 2017, we had Todd Howard show up and put Skyrim on the Switch. I feel, and at the time that was really big. I mean, even I was like, what the fuck, Skyrim is playing on this thing? I feel like an easy way to do that again is to do Oblivion Remake. Next thing I have in here is a Dreamcast collection. Recently, Sega has delisted a bunch of their Dreamcast games, and I don't think they have a new Sonic ready to go yet. I think that an easy, game to get people, older fans like myself, excited is to put out a bunch of those games that were delisted into a collection, like Crazy Taxi, Knights, Sega Bass Fishing, stuff like that. Put in a collection, put it out there. People would eat it up. Speaking personally, I would really like if we got a Skies of Arcadia remake or even a fucking port, I'd be okay with, but I feel like they wouldn't put that in a collection. I feel like they would actually go the whole remaster treatment. Okay, this one's a bit of a wild one, all right? So first I have to lay the context for this so that you can understand what I'm saying here. There has been a long rumor that Metaphor ReFantazio is going to be a release, like a launch game for the Nintendo Switch 2, and that Persona 3 Reload would come later in the year. That to me made no sense, because I was like, okay, Metaphor ReFantazio was big, right? It's not Persona. Persona is and will sell better than Metaphor. So I was like, why would they want to put Metaphor first and not Persona 3? Now, I know the devs have said that they would never do this multiple times, but you're gonna hate me for saying this, but my brain was like, well, they would have to add more to Persona 3. I mean, I guess they don't technically have to, but I think the easiest way to get people to double dip on Persona 3 is you put the female main character into the game. They actually redo that and make that like a new definitive version of Persona 3 Reload, and you release that later this year on the Switch 2, all platforms, whatever. That would be the easiest way, I think, to get people to buy that game again. I know there'd be a lot of discourse online, but I guarantee you it would sell very well. That was the only thing that made logical sense to me. On why they would not have P3 at launch and not like choose Metaphor over P3. There was an or that I had written on here, and it's that they would either do that, Metaphor at launch, Persona 3 later, or it's Metaphor at launch, Persona 4 remake later. And I only wrote that recently because of the trademark that's going on. If I remember correctly, I think Faz on Twitter said this, when Persona 3 Reload, the domain, the like website was registered, it was like 3 months afterwards that Reload was announced. So I mean, it was pretty recent. It was maybe like a couple weeks ago, but I still think it's either going to be what I just said about P3 or to be P4 later. The next one I have written down, these next three actually, or no, it's two, would make sense together. Nintendo mouse game / WarioWare / Mario Paint pack-in. I could not decide which one it would be. I think that it would be, I think Mario Paint could be a pack-in game, because the Switch one did not get a pack-in game. The Wii U did. I think it was only the deluxe version of the Wii U, but it did get a pack-in game with Nintendo Land. I think there is an easy get here to sell consoles by putting Mario Paint on there. I can't think of a more perfect game to bring back and, you know, show the capabilities with the new mouse feature, assuming it does have that. Because I mean, look at like what other consoles are doing, right? Like the Steam Deck got Aperture Desk Job or something, I can't remember, to like, you know, show off the console. PlayStation 5 got Astro's Playroom. I see no reason for them to not do another pack-in game. I feel like it's time. It could also be a Nintendo mouse game. And by that, I just mean like they make a brand new title that is centered around the mouse and sell it for $60, $70. Or WarioWare is the game that they, you know, want to show the mouse capabilities. Next one is another this or that. It's one or the other. NSO expansion, Nintendo DS, or NSO expansion, GameCube. So there's a rumor that apparently the C button on the Nintendo Switch 2 can like connect to a Switch 1, and you can like dual screen it. That's really cool if that's the case. I don't know exactly how that's gonna work, but that could work really well with Nintendo DS. And I think if they do Nintendo DS, I think they would drop a lot of bangers the day that this happens. I did not write what games I thought that would be down because I'm not as confident on DS over the other one. I think if they did drop DS, I think we would see, I'm gonna sound like I'm crazy, but I think we could see Gen 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 drop for NSO. I know, but I could see that happening. Regardless, I don't think we're gonna get DS as NSO. I think we're gonna get GameCube. And for GameCube, we're gonna get 5 titles dropped same day. But I wrote down a bunch of different games. I'll tell you, obviously you'll hear my finalized list at the end of this, but the ones I had written down were Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Wind Waker, Animal Crossing, Double Dash with online, Melee with online, and Pokemon Coliseum. Here's some third-party stuff. Square Enix is very close. They're tight with our boys at Nintendo. Square Enix is actually my favorite game developer. I love their games very deeply. Next to them is Atlas, goats of the industry in my opinion, in terms of the games they make, not necessarily the companies. I do think that Square Enix has to show up, and they always do with Nintendo Directs. And I had one of two things written down here that could show up. Initially, I was like, for the Switch 1 Direct, I would like the last one, I was like, maybe we'll see Bravely Default. That didn't happen. I think here we could see the Final Fantasy IX remake, because that has been long rumored, and I cannot think of a better a better showcase to drop that. However, it's the Chrono Trigger, 30th anniversary? 35th or something? I don't remember when that game came out, but that game is a masterpiece. I love that game. I don't remember the article, so I don't want to misquote, but they said something about projects being released this year. I think an easy shoe-in is Chrono Trigger HD 2D remake. The Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake is coming out this year. That should be either close to finalized or finalized by now. And plus, if I remember correctly, it's a lot of it's going to be used from Dragon Quest 3 remake because, I mean, I don't want to spoil the game, but they're probably going to reuse a lot of that stuff anyway. So I could see them maybe have been working on a Chrono Trigger remake in tandem with that. Next, I had Hades 2. I don't think it'll like drop same day. I think they'll just announce the release date and that it's coming later this year. They just had a big update in the early access thing from what I remember, and they're still aiming for 2025, I think. I could be wrong on that. Listen, the point of this second channel is for me to just go off the dome. I'm not fact checking shit. If you want to fact check me, please do so. Please do so, honestly. But I believe they said that. So I do think we could see Hades 2 over here. Plus that'd be like your big indie darling for the show. Then I have one of the more obvious ones, 3D Mario. We're gonna get it. Like, there's no way we don't. Monster Hunter Wilds, I think, could show up here. A new Animal Crossing is what I want more than anything, and I think that could also show up here. Cyberpunk and Elden Ring and Halo. a trilogy or the trio of, I think, third parties that would hit so many different audiences. Halo is my favorite first-person shooter of all time. It's kind of wild that I live in a world where that wouldn't surprise me to see Halo on a Nintendo platform, but that's the world we live in now. So I think Halo would be a really big get. Maybe it wouldn't be, because Halo's not as big as it used to be. But yeah, I could see Microsoft dropping Halo on Nintendo Switch 2. Cyberpunk and Elden Ring feel like the games to kind of wow people, like, yeah, this is running on this console. And, you know, they did put Witcher on Nintendo Switch. I know it's not like perfect. I think it'll be pretty solid on Switch 2. And then I have Metaphor ReFantazio, which I talked about earlier. I have Final Fantasy VII Remake Twin Pack. Talked about this before. The remake trilogy is probably gonna end up being my favorite trilogy in all of media. Remake Part 1 is incredible. Remake Part 2 is my favorite game of all time, Rebirth. I've had enough time to think about that. Yes, it is my favorite game of all time. Love Rebirth. I know a lot of people, I believe the rumor is that Remake now, Rebirth later. I could see that happening as well, but I think they're gonna want to do the Twin Pack. The Twin Pack is insane value. I think it's like $60, $70 for both those games. That's crazy value for how much content you get out of that. I think they do a Twin Pack. I have new Donkey Kong. There's a lot of Donkey Kong promo going around right now. New theme park coming up. I feel like we can get a 3D Donkey Kong and a 2D Kirby, because we just got a 3D Kirby. And Kirby, I think that was the first time a mainline Kirby game went 3D. I know we had Donkey Kong 64 was 3D. It's been a long time. So it's been a long time since we had 2D Kirby. So let's get 2D Kirby, 3D Donkey Kong. I have new Nintendo IP. If you remember, when the Wii U came out, we got Splatoon. And then when the Switch 1 came out, we got ARMS. I think we're gonna get another one of those. Don't know what's it gonna be. Maybe it's Feet. Lord knows, I got no idea. Then I have Monolith Soft new IP. Monolith Soft has been working on a new IP for a while now, and I know they just put out Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I know that Tetsuya Takahashi talked about that being a lot of work to put on that platform, but they've been working on this new IP for a while. I remember years ago when they showed art of it online. I feel like they could show it here. For sure, they could show it here. Next I have is Smash Ultimate Deluxe. Okay, so you know how the Nintendo Switch got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which Mario Kart 8, obviously it's a Wii U title, and they had been updating Mario Kart 8 throughout the entire Switch's life cycle, essentially, giving new tracks constantly to that game. I feel like they could do the same with Smash Ultimate. I know a lot of people think that we're just gonna get a new Smash. I actually think we're gonna get one of two things. This was just one of the things I'd written down. I think we could get Smash Ultimate Deluxe, and it would be a title where we get like 3 or 4 seasons of new characters, hopefully rollback. Not gonna happen, but hopefully. I think that they could work out the licensing. I know that it was tough, but I feel like we're at a point right now where Nintendo has kind of been on top for a while, and I feel like everyone wants to play nice with Nintendo. You know, Sony and Microsoft hate each other, but well, I don't know, Microsoft's kind of in the bed with everyone right now, but both platforms clearly are okay with putting their games on Nintendo Switch, so it feels like it could work. This is actually not my prediction. This is one of my friend's predictions. He told me Mario Maker 3 or Mario Maker 2 with mouse controls. That would be so good. That's what that game needs. Not my prediction though. He gets full credit. Then I have Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. That feels like a shoe-in. Dragon Quest 12. Maybe like a 5% chance of that happening. And then I have Splatoon spinoff. So I don't think we're gonna get a new Splatoon game. If I remember correctly, the Splatoon and Animal Crossing studios are shared. So I think we could see like a Splatoon spinoff, maybe like a lifestyle sim or something like that come out. I love Splatoon, and I do think we're at a point right now where I could see something Splatoon related that's not necessarily like a shooter. And that's everything I had written down. So my final list, I have 16 games written down here, and I am gonna say, well, my final list is 16 games and 5 GameCube NSO games. So the games are: number 1, Persona 3 Reload with FemC. I feel like Persona 4 Remake is gonna be later. Number 2 is a new 3D Mario. Number 3 is Ocarina of Time Remake. I just realized I did not have that on my phone. Let me explain myself. I don't think the main Zelda team is anywhere close to finished with the new Zelda game. I know we just got Echoes of Wisdom from Grezzo, and even though it looks like a traditional Zelda, it's really not. So we're kind of missing that traditional Zelda. It's been a long time. And I was thinking to myself, what is a traditional Zelda that they could do that would get a lot of people very, very excited, while also not being too difficult to like get done in a timely manner? And my brain arrived at an Ocarina of Time remake. It could be a remaster of the 3DS version. I don't think that's the case. I think we're getting a full-blown remake of Ocarina of Time, and I think they might open the show with that. Next up is Fire Emblem 4 Remake. This is a title that has apparently been done for a long time. Fire Emblem 4 is the Fire Emblem I want to play the most. I'm always told by people it's the best entry. It's like the FF7 of Fire Emblem. It's the Persona 3 of Fire Emblem. Constantly told that, so I really want to play it very badly. I think that will be here. Number 5 is a new 3D Donkey Kong. Number 6 is new 2D Kirby. Number 7, I actually didn't have this in my phone either, is Baldur's Gate 3. And the reason for that is we're gonna get a first-party mouse game, and then we're gonna get a third-party mouse game, Baldur's Gate 3. Number 8 is a new Nintendo IP. I could not guess what it could be. It could be fucking, I don't know. I'm looking around my room. Fucking 2 breakfast sandwich. Lord knows I need to throw that out. It's an empty cup. Number 9, FF7 Twin Pack. I think that's a shoo-in. We already know Square is trying to go multi-platform, and FF7 is massive. Number 10 is Metaphor. Number 11 is Chrono Trigger HD 2D Remake. As much as I love Chrono Trigger, and I think it's a masterpiece, I would rather see FF9 Remake. But I think Chrono Trigger is more likely right now. All right, I have to step in here real quick. This is Future Pinoy. It is March 31st, 11:35 a.m. And despite what I have said here, Square Enix has actually put up an anniversary website for the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy IX. And I am now convinced that it is not going to be Chrono Trigger. It's going to be Final Fantasy IX Remake. I know I'm going back on what I said, but listen, new information breeds new thoughts, and that's where I'm at now. Number 12 is the Master Chief Collection. Halo, I wrote Halo Collection, but Master Chief Collection. That feels like something that would not break the internet, but like get a lot of people talking. Like, yo, Master Chief is on a Nintendo platform. Hades 2. And number 12. Number 13, I'd have this wrong. 13 is Hades 2. 14 is Cyberpunk 2077. 15 is Elden Ring. And number 16 is Monolith Soft's new IP. That would be such a fucking crazy. I'm smoking so much copium reading this shit. There ain't no way half the shit's coming true, but I hope so. And then I said this earlier, and I do believe in it. I think we're gonna get that Mario Paint pack in. And then the 5, because I think they're gonna put GameCube on the NSO service. The 5 games that I think will be on that service is Smash Melee. Melee is too synonymous with the Nintendo GameCube, and notice, even though I put a lot of thought into Smash Ultimate Deluxe, I feel like Sakurai is working on something else. He's either working on something else or he's working on a brand new Smash. But if you're asking me the timeline that I want to see an Ultimate Deluxe version. I really like Ultimate, and I would just want more of Ultimate if I'm being real. But I think there has to be Smash in some capacity, and I think the easiest way to do that is you do Melee, give it online, and the internet will literally flip on its head. Number 2, Double Dash with online. I know, I mean, okay, this isn't in my list, but like obviously Mario Kart 9 is going to be here. I just put Double Dash because I don't know, I feel like they would put Double Dash on the platform. If it's not Double Dash, and I know I'm going back on what I was saying earlier that these are locked in, if it's not Double Dash, it's Pokemon Coliseum. But I'm going to stick to my word, Double Dash with online. Number 3 is Animal Crossing. Notice I said earlier, bro, I want Animal Crossing more than anything. But the more I think about it, I don't know if we're getting a brand new Animal Crossing. Future Pinoy coming in to clarify something here. When I say that I think there will not be a new Animal Crossing, it's because I think it would come out later. I believe that we're going to see the Switch 2 come out in summer, and I think that they would want the new Animal Crossing to release early on in the year so that you can get the full year's worth of events. That's why. But I think they will put Animal Crossing on the platform. I just think it's going to be the GameCube version, which I would be 100% okay with. The GameCube version is fucking amazing. I love Animal Crossing on GameCube. It's so good. Number 4 is Wind Waker, because I don't even know if the Wind Waker Twilight Princess HD remasters exist anymore. I'm almost at the point where I think that Wind Waker is just going to be released as part of NSO. And then number 5, like I was saying earlier, I think FE4 Remake is going to be here, right? I think that will come out later this year, and I think to satiate the Fire Emblem fans who are so hungry, like myself, we would get Path of Radiance dropped. So that's where I'm at. That's what I think is going to be the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. What do you think is going to be in the Switch 2 Direct? Let me know. Drop a comment, leave a like, leave a dislike. I don't care either way. Check out my Patreon at the $5 tier to get videos early for my main channel. Helps support me get more videos out. And yeah, I just want to hear what you guys think, because I love talking about video games and I cannot wait to see what's announced here. Bye-bye.